headquarters are the first for an alternative response department in the nation. As the third branch of public safety, ACS, yes, a round of applause, thank you. As the third branch of public safety, ACS has woven itself into the fabric of emergency response for the city of Albuquerque, and until now, we do not have a permanent home. The new building has space for growing numbers of responders, staff, and a dedicated training space. It also holds a collaborative space, this room here at the end, where members of the community would be able to use and host some of their neighborhood association meetings or catch up. So as much as this is a building for ACS, it's just as much a building for the community. Just 4 years ago, ACS was just a dream. Now I'd like to turn it over to the person who helped this dream come true, Mayor Tim Keller.
Well, good afternoon, International District. Good afternoon, Albuquerque. Good afternoon, Burke. It is Duke's night tonight, I Stoke Sparks, just in case you're wondering. But hey, listen, we are really here to celebrate. This is a special occasion for all sorts of reasons, but first and foremost for everyone who's here today. And so with some initial welcoming remarks, let's welcome our First Lady, Liz.
Huge thanks to everyone coming out today. I think as we heard before, right, this was just a dream 4 years ago. And dream is an appropriate word because there are so many people here who were up all night, many nights, many months figuring out how to make this work. And for our family to see the impact that this has had on our community. But what we also know is it has taken hundreds of families dedicating their time and their wisdom, both the families of folks who work here at ACS, the families of everyone associated with the dozens and dozens of community partners that make this work possible. So I want us all to give ourselves, all of you, a huge round of applause for the incredible part you played in this. And as I said to someone when we stepped out, you know, there are so many things in this city that Tim and I are really proud of. But to see this come together, right, when there is no playbook, when you are destined to be the first in the country to move to make this a reality, to move into 24/7 service, to move into a building, all of that, when you're leading and out front, takes a ton of work, it takes a ton of courage, and it takes the entire community. So thank you all for being part of it.
Now, a couple of things about today's program. We obviously have restrooms, etc. inside. Come take a look at the building if you haven't seen it. We've got fun for the kids over there. I know ours were there. We'll have music later as well, and food trucks are behind you. So stay as long as you like. We do have a lot of folks who we want to give an opportunity to share some remarks today, because it has truly taken a one Albuquerque community effort to get here today. And so bear with us for a little bit of an extended program, but this occasion certainly warrants that. And we're going to hear this in numerous forms, but I want to let you know what you see behind you, but also what you see and feel on our streets every day, is the first of its kind and the only of its kind in the entire country. That is awesome. How often can we say that in Albuquerque? And so I do also want to mention, I know we have a ton of our actual responders here today. We're going to introduce them sort of in terms of their departments, but just because of the ACS folks that are here and their families. If you work at ACS, raise your hand, or if your family works at ACS, thank you all so much for making this happen. It is literally because of you. And of course, like any first responder department, a third of our ACS department is actually working right now, so that's why they're not here. But it's truly been a lift from the bottom up, from the community up, and from our department workers and our responders each and every day to the rest of the city. And that is a way for me to also introduce what is a surprise, although it'll be a surprise to no one, but we have a surprise announcement today. And so, you know, our department, we're going to talk a little bit about how this got started. But the next person I wanted to introduce is our interim director. But I'm very glad to say, and the surprise today is that yesterday we named her the new director of ACS. Please bring up Jody Eskimo. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Mariela. Thank you guys for your vision, and thank you for the love that you have for our community, because without you guys, this wouldn't be what it is today, and I'm so honored to be here. I'm honored to be here in this community. I was born and raised in Albuquerque. I love Albuquerque. I'll always fight for Albuquerque. And I am honored to be in this position, and I don't take the responsibility lightly. And I know that I will walk with the administration's help and Mariela's help and reach the community in a way that we've never reached it before. I know that we can do that. I know that we have hope. I know that we have vision, and I know that we have power in our people. And I can do that for you guys. I know that I can. I'm honored for us to be able to open the doors for you guys to see the facility and celebrate as a community, because ACS, right, the Community Safety Program, it's about community, and it's about for you guys to have buy-in to us and understand us and trust us and walk with us just the same. And so we open our doors to you, and there will always be open for you. And so welcome and thank you. It's an honor to be able to step into this role, and I'm honored to be able to have this responsibility. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Director. And we're fortunate to have her leading our department. I know she's been deputy for some time, and she knows the ropes. She also has a long career in emergency response and does a little MMA on the side. So she is an amazing person. Please take advantage of being able to chat with her today. And next up, we do want to introduce, this department. One of the first concerns when we announced this idea was, would police and fire be okay with it? And I have to tell you, we talk about the one Albuquerque family, and we know even for those of us who were even born and raised here, raising our kids here, but we also know that, we do stand together when we need it most. And I will tell you, when this department and this idea was hanging by a thread, two people stepped up big time to say that this is the right thing for Albuquerque and this is the right time to do it. And the first one of those was our Chief of Police, Harold Medina. Chief, come on up.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, everybody, for being here today. The first thing I want to do is I just want to thank all of the ground level responders that are out here today, because like Mayor said, this program already is a success. Last year, part of why we had a 56% reduction in the use of force is because the Albuquerque Police Department isn't getting dispatched to calls that they shouldn't be dispatched to. That's right. And this program is a success because of the people at the lowest levels, at the ground level, who are out every day, decided that they're willing to work with each other and give each other a chance. And our officers rely on ACS, ACS relies on fire, and we are one Albuquerque when it comes to being able to respond out to the community. So I want to thank everybody who's already made this a success, and I want to thank everybody, the mayor, all the city officials who worked to get this off the ground and develop this program, because it truly is creating the right resource for the situation. And too many times law enforcement was put into situations that they should have never been in, and many times they don't end the way they needed to. And without a doubt, this is one of the reasons why we are in compliance with our settlement agreement, and the progress we've made forward is because we have others who are the right tool for the right situation. So thank you, everybody.
Now, as of course I think most folks know here, the ACS department responds through our 911 system. That is one of the things that is so incredible about it. And of course the 911 system is shared by our police department, but also our fire rescue department and the EMTs that now also don't have to take those calls, so they can go to truly life-threatening calls. And so one of the architects initially on this when it was being piloted was our now Chief of Fire, Emily Harvio. So let's bring her on up, our Fire Rescue Chief, Emily Harvio.
Hi everybody, thank you for being here today. Like Mayor said, I've been lucky to be a part of this since the beginning when I was the Deputy Chief. We used to meet every Tuesday. We had a public safety meeting, and there was all of the different departments that touched public safety that sat in that meeting. And 4 years ago, we met with our then CAO, Sarita Nair, and it was on the heels of the murder of George Floyd. And the mayor, administration, wanted to do something different. And we came together and everybody kind of took a piece. So I was lucky to be in charge of the operations committee. Mariela was on that committee, and we started kind of building out what this department would look like. The really cool thing about this partnership with all of the city departments is that our little idea that started with just a handful of people has grown this big. As a first responder, there's many times I've been on a call as a firefighter, and I know law enforcement can agree with this, where we knew we weren't the right responder for that call. And so having all of these ACS responders as part of our first response family is super important in providing that service to the public. So we're just happy to be here, very excited to see where this idea has grown to their own facility and hundreds of employees, and we're very excited to continue to support you as the department continues to grow and move forward. So thank you all.
Thank you so much, Chief. And we're fortunate too, this idea has, at least in this community, always had strong support from the beginning. But wonderfully over now the course of 2 councilors, we continue to build up this community in general, but also to support this department and to make sure that we can actually continue to expand it. And so that's right, we made 24/7 last year, and this year we want to try and make sure that we have double squads on each shift. So we're going to need council support for that, which is a good segue to your new city councilor. She's not really that new anymore, but let's welcome up Nicole Rogers.
Thank you, man. I'm gonna say I'm new till a year in. How about that? Yeah. Thank you all for being here. This is a testament to community, and I love what our new director, congratulations, had to say, that this is for community by community. I had just come to work for Mayor Keller when Mariela was exiting OEI to start this journey. And I have to say I was really impressed with a couple of things. One thing, this project, it wasn't a project, it was a vision and a goal, but it was rooted in research. And how she set up training for the first responders very thoughtfully. How we talked to community members about what we need and neighborhood associations and all of the folks. And the most special thing for me is it's right here in the International District, right? We know that the call volume, when we look at the data of call volume, that the calls heavily are coming from our district. Now, how many of you live and work here in the International District? No, hold on now. How many of y'all live and work in the International District? I want to hear it. Yes. We are excited to have this here. We know we need this here. We have, this could be and will be a hub for our community to get access to the resources that we need to help pull people out of suffering. Because that's what we have a lot of when we drive around our neighborhood here. We can see the suffering. And that's what ACS does, is it helps to alleviate the suffering that is rampant in our community. And so we all can get behind that. And I know my fellow councilors share that vision, that we need to alleviate the suffering, and are all committed to doing that as a team in the spirit of One Albuquerque. This isn't us versus them. This is community, all of us pulling in the same direction. And look, when we do that, we become the nation's leader in community safety. And I want you to know that ACS is the nation's leader in this work. People from all over the country are coming here to Albuquerque to find out what we're doing. And that's because of the amazing human capital that we have at the City of Albuquerque, especially in ACS. So thank you to everybody that's out here that's poured into this team, that continues to support this team, and we will continue to support and make sure that we do more of this, because we are leaders. Our staff, our leadership, our work here, we are leaders in this country, in Albuquerque, and I believe that. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Councilor. And we're also grateful to be joined because we know that this facility is located here. We do know that the large number of calls are here, but I want to emphasize this is a citywide effort, and it has been from day one, and that's why I really appreciate also, we've got Councilor Champagne here, also Councilor Grout, and I know we have some other folks who, of course, live all over the city and are supporting all the work that ACS does. I do also want to acknowledge our CAO is here, Samantha Single, and I think this is the first time her name's on a building. So you got to check out the plaque, pretty cool, it's pretty special for a CAO. And also our Director of Arts and Culture is here, Shell, I know she's here to give us a wave. And I know her team's with her as well, Shell Sanchez. So with that, we also have another elected official here who represents this particular neighborhood and a large swath of the city as one of our county commissioners, another steadfast supporter of this initiative, Adrian Barboa. Come on up, Commissioner Barboa.
Hello, good, what a beautiful day. Look around, this is the most beautiful community ever. Look around. Yes, yes. I actually am going to take a minute because I'm really emotional about this day. This is so important. I used to walk these streets when I went to Wilson Middle School. My son, who went to Wilson Middle School, also passed through here. And our communities have been needing this. This is a blessing to us. So thank you. I am Adrienne Barboa. I'm Bernalillo County Commissioner for District 3. I want to start off with recognition. Recognition of the community leaders. First, I just want to name and ask us all to raise our heads to the sky and remember in memorial and power of Reina Luz Juarez. Take a moment. Reina Luz Juarez, like so many of our community leaders in this area, she was, and in recognition of the community leaders from this area, they are persistent, relentless. They are powerful leaders that live, work, play, pray, raise our kids, take care of our elders, and no one else, because they know that no one else is going to do it if they're not doing it for themselves. This is yet another example of your organizing, your powerful voices, your community to build community power to build the Southeast Albuquerque that our families deserve. Reina Luz Juarez was one of those leaders. And this block of land, this is a place where she spoke the loudest and advocated the most for. She demanded without fear that this plot of land be a place where all our neighbors could have use, could feel safe. And she was determined that our students that cross this to and from school every day, going to Whittier or Wilson, had a clear path that would be safety, that they could feel wanted and feel loved. She herself that walked these paths so many times, must have been millions of footsteps, just by Reina Luz Juarez herself back and forth, just before leading the walking school bus that crosses this path. Just before her untimely passing, Reina Luz, which if you don't know means Queen of Light, called me and asked me to come get a pumpkin in the fall. She had raised the funds to get pumpkins. It was during COVID. Those funds had been expired. They weren't taking kids to the harvest patch, and she didn't want the kids that she'd been serving to miss out. So she raised the funds herself, and she said she's going to sit here, and she called me and she said, Mujer, I am turning 50, and I'm going to sit in that lot and give pumpkins away to our kids and our familias, and there's no other place I would want to celebrate my 50th birthday, because that's who she was. And Reina Luz is only one of so much beautiful energies in this community that fight for our communities, demand that these kind of beautiful things that we deserve. As you can tell, Reina Luz made an impact on this community and on me. She is one of the many of them. I can name them all off. Khadijah Bottom, the whole Cardiel family, Tanya Mullen, Bernadette Hardy, Kathy McGill. They're all here. Everybody, Dr. Boleto, everybody, GD, everybody's here. That we are so full of leadership in this community, and all us electeds we need to do is listen and move resources to the vision and ideas of this community. Because this ACS was a vision and idea of this community long before it even hit pieces of paper. You fight fearlessly, and you take the reins and lead the way. You are the most amazing leaders, and thank you for that. Thank you. Please, round of applause for our leaders here. They speak up. They're unafraid. They're fighting for our kids, for our families. Number two, I want to thank those ACS workers and VIP workers. Every one of you, what a blessing you are to our communities. Thank you. Thank you to Mayor Keller and Mariela Angel Ruiz for taking some of the biggest risks of all. Despite criticism, despite all the haters, you knew that this would be a blessing for our communities. We were begging for this, and you more than delivered, despite all the doubts and the criticism. While across the nation, people were trying to figure this out and maybe pilot small teams and see how it might work, you went big. You said, we're going to fund a whole team. We're going to have robust and rigorous training. We're going to hire people that are going to move with compassionate care and people who want to serve our communities, who aren't afraid to work, pull up their sleeves and work face to face with dignity and respect for our unsheltered neighbors and those struggling in our streets. ACS, you have been a blessing to our neighborhoods. Thank you. You have proven to the nation that when we address our society's downfalls, like homelessness, substance use, mental health needs, with a human rights lens and approach, that dignity and respect will always be more effective than shame and judgment. Thank you, ACS and DA. I think that's almost there. This building and this grand opening marks an important marker in our history and in our beloved and the future for our beloved Albuquerque. It's a marker of the investment in our most populated area, our most diverse, most culturally rich communities in the entire state is right here. We know that we are worth fighting for. So soak it up, community. This is your day. Recognition of your hard work, a celebration of the vision you had and what's to come. As we continue to demand the best for our neighborhoods. Thank you, ACS. Thank you, Mayor Keller. Thank you, Mariela. And thank you, community.
Thanks so much, Commissioner. So we have a couple of last folks to bring up before we're going to do a really fun community ribbon cutting that we want everyone to join us in. And but this next speaker, want to talk about her, but I also do want to acknowledge we're joined by our U.S. Attorney today, which is also awesome. So, U.S. Attorney Ubaez, thank you so much for joining us. He's somewhere running around in his family. Give a round of applause. So, at the end of the day, of course, it takes a village to do something like this. There is no doubt. And I know that, there were folks, I'll tell a little bit about how this idea kind of got started one day on a Saturday morning urgent meeting at City Hall. But I also want you to know that if you had to pick one person, if you just had to pick one out of the hundreds who made this happen, the one who really actually made the department turn on and open and start, she's sort of the founder of the feast. She's the first ever director of ACS. We now promoted her to Associate Chief Administrative Officer. Please bring together the founder of the feast, Mariela Ruiz Angel.
Emotional today, but as I pulled up this morning, I just had this moment that came to full fruition. This dream, the dream of this property being full of people again. This dream of our community gathering in a space that is meant for us, for our community, built for everybody in this surrounding area to use. And so I choked up as I started to get here and just thought, this is a dream come true. This is my Cinderella moment. And so I want to kind of just note a couple things to all the leaders. There's representatives here. There's city councilors who supported us. But I will want to start with Mayor Keller. Mayor Keller and his administration took the leap of faith to do something not just innovative, but transformational. We're going to fix that street too. But We started with an idea and we doubled down on it, and then we decided to invest even more with the building. And so when you talk about having something that you've created, sometimes you can't touch, right? When you think about ACS and the work we've done, this you can walk into, this you feel, this you can feel the culture and the essence of the trauma-informed work that we're doing every day. This is leading the nation. Seattle just put out a big press yesterday. They're going to double their workforce at their new CARES department because of ACS. So I want to say thank you again. I want to be clear, we are not going away. We are staying here. We are going to change public safety. We already have. We're doubling down. We're going to grow, and we're going to do it together. And so please, this is your new space. Come use it. Call us. Come in. Feel free to visit us whenever you'd like. This is yours. Fight for it. Keep it. And really treasure what we've created together as a community. And gracias, everybody. Let's have some dancing and food.
Thank you so much, Mariela. We are so grateful, as she said, to be here today. And I'm going to wrap things up with just a couple of sort of closing comments. And I do want to let folks know, too, she mentioned the Seattle announcement today, but I want to read to you the headline of the Seattle Times from about 6 months ago, because you don't always see this in the headlines of another major city paper. But the headline, front page, top of the fold, says, Seattle headline, Albuquerque built a non-police 911 response. Why can't we? That's right, that's right. So Seattle, you can, and all the other cities in America, you should. That's what we want to see all across our country. So for us too, I just want to reflect on the moment when this transitioned from an idea and a pilot project to something much bigger. And I will tell you, it was, of course, as we mentioned during the Summer of Social Justice, we're reflecting on what happened with the murder of George Floyd, also trying to deal with police reform in our own community, a shortage of responders. All of this was happening in 2020. And we had a lot of emergency meetings back in the day with myself and our executive team. And in that moment, in that very, very challenging moment, we actually had a moment of inspiration where our team, and most of them are not here today, but they're out there somewhere, whether it's Sarita or Sanjay or Lawrence, but I also know Mike Pulley is here, he was there too. The point is, we're all sitting around the room, and we were talking about how we've been piloting this idea. The idea that social work should be combined with emergency response, right? So you get the right response at the right time. And we all knew that sort of on a pilot perspective, and even all across the country, we've been trying this. But the problem was, how do you make it scale? How do you make it help thousands of people instead of like a handful of people? That was the challenge. And the breakthrough was, let's just do it through 911, and let's make a department, a full department, a cabinet-level department that is on par with police and fire, that can deliver those services just like police and fire do. So that idea, it came out, and I remember we all were like, this is a good idea. I have to tell you, we all were kind of like, this is a good idea. And then we were all like, there's no way we're going to be able to do this. And that is where the community came in. I have to tell you, there was also in those challenging moments, in those moments of truth, that summer of 2020, where there was also courage that the community gave us. I can look around here and pick out whether it's folks who I used to work with when I was a state senator here from Elder Homestead in South San Pedro, folks who literally introduced Liz and I, folks who watched us start a family here in the International District, all the way up to folks who, when I said this idea, they did not flinch. And they said, now is the time. They said, actually, 2020 is when we have the courage to do this. And when we can come together and show the rest of America that Albuquerque actually is the future of the rest of the country. And this is the proof right here today. So this department has now taken 72,000 calls. That is awesome. You look on the other end of that, that means it has taken 72,000 calls police and fire didn't have to take, or maybe shouldn't have taken. And the other way to look at it is 72,000 times people got help. that they could actually use, whether it was advice, help to services, de-escalation, that right response at the right time, 72,000 times. And so now for us, this does mark, I believe, a new era in public safety. Certainly first and foremost in Albuquerque. ACS is here to stay, there is no question. That's what this building is also all about. By the way, we also voluntarily unionized ACS too to make sure that workers have the right protections and that politicians down the road can't get rid of it. So for us, there is nothing else temporary, nothing else pilot project about the Community Safety Department. It is here to stay, it is part of the fabric of who we are, and it should be. In fact, it makes me wonder why other cities aren't doing this faster. Because I know the number one question I get from mayors all around the country is, how did you do that? And I say it's because of the courage and the dedication of our community. You were the ones who gave us that courage to pull this off. You are the ones who staff this department each and every day. You are the ones who believe in the promise of this city. We know we have challenges. That is not lost on anyone here. But we also know we are strong, we are resilient, and we believe in each other. And we believe in what this city can do to actually help each other. That is what binds us together. That is what we celebrate today. And so I want to thank you for believing in Albuquerque. Thank you so much, and come on up here for a ribbon cutting. Thank you. I'm going to hold it right there so I can make sure. Okay, put your hand. Okay, let's give these kids a countdown from 3 backwards. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah!